Hi guys, it's reaction time. I think this one's going to be heavy. Just a bit of a warning for you. So this band is called Infanteria and the song's called Embrace the Trauma. They've got a new album out and I've come across this because John Elvis, one of my subscribers, commented under another video, said check this album out. So yesterday I had a quick check of the album, see what it sounds like, because I do try, when people recommend stuff, I do try to keep up. And man, through just clicking through a few tracks, it just blew me away. This is a progressive thrash metal band. That's how they're portrayed on Wiki, by the way. So that's not me saying that, but on Wiki it says South African progressive thrash band. Formed in 2006. The album that's out now is Patriarch. Came out last week, so on Friday the 17th of June. It's the third album, so I haven't heard anything from these guys apart from flicking through, just checking a few tracks out, and they blew me away. And this is heavy and it sounds brilliant from what I've heard so far. So what I thought I'd do is, before I get into hearing the whole album, I would listen to the single. And there's only been one single by the looks of it. It's called Embrace the Trauma. Like I said, it came out a couple of weeks ago. So I thought, I know you guys like, you know, reactions more than album reviews. I might go do an album review as well, but I'm a bit gutted that I missed out on a reaction. Although I've only heard a few seconds. Now there's some real aggressive vocals on this. For me, pushing about as far as I can go on some parts that I've heard, because you guys know me, I like a singer, but I did notice throughout this album, this guy's got a great voice as well. So he's got a singing voice and he gets really aggressive as well, in the way that thrash should be, by the way. So in this band is Chris Hall on guitar and vocals, Adriano Rodriguez on guitar, Tim Lebrent on the bass, and Adrian Langveld on the drums. I think one of these guys is from the UK as well, from what I can remember reading, from Manchester. I'm not sure which one it is, but but they're mainly South African band. Don't know how many bands coming out of South Africa. There probably is loads, but whether I get to hear them is a different matter. Sometimes it's interesting. If I start doing reactions to certain bands in certain countries, all of a sudden I start getting more. So that'd be interesting if I get some more South African bands. But as far as thrash is concerned, I do love a bit of thrash. When it comes to thrash, a lot of it is to do with the vocals, what makes me like something and what doesn't. I like an aggressive vocal in thrash, but I don't like it where it's completely just from the start out shouting. I like aggression and shouting when it comes to certain parts of the songs, if that makes any sense, depending on what the song is like. So because this is the only single, I thought it was cool to react to this one. But I must admit, this has got this sound, the sound this band have got, from what I've heard, is fantastic. Right, I've bumped them up enough now. Hopefully it'll be good. So, Infanteria, Embrace the Trauma. Here we go. Man, it's 10 to 8 in the morning and it's brilliant on a Sunday morning, and it's absolutely fantastic thrash. That is classic thrash. That riff is just absolutely outstanding. It's relentless, it's heavy as it should be. The vocals are perfect for this because it's got that fast pace, and this is the perfect example of what I was saying earlier. At the right time, going into that even more aggressive vocal, but perfectly, you know, you can hear every word. It's not just screaming, it is just relentless thrash, but really classy, where you can hear this sounds amazing. The bass is just rumbling, that guitar is cutting through perfectly. This is almost like a sort of mix between classic Metallica, like real classic, and I mean my favourite part of Metallica, you know, from probably Ride the Lightning to Master of Puppets, maybe a bit of And Justice for All, Metallica, when they was at their best for me, and maybe a bit of Overkill, maybe some Pantera, and that's the vocals little bit remind me of that, you know, when Phil Anselmo sort of, when at certain stages he shouts, but it's different. You know, I always say, and before anyone pulls me in the comments below about I don't like shouting, I love Phil Anselmo's voice. Similar to this guy, I love it where he just does it at the right moments. It's needed. It feels like it's needed, and it adds to it rather than just someone just screaming from the beginning. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. The energy that this gives off is just mental. I love the little bits where it sort of slows down half speed, even though it's still fast, but it gives it even more power. And when you do that, if you go full-blown speed from the beginning, all the way from beginning to end, it's almost like it loses its heaviness because there's no change-ups, you know. But when you start going half speed as well and then going back into the fast bits, that is fucking brilliant, and it doesn't lose any heaviness whatsoever. This is why, you know, a lot of the time I say that I prefer medium pace songs, which I do. Sometimes thrash songs have to be fast. It's in the name, do you know what I mean? But if they're done right, if they're done by the right band, it's still as heavy, because I think a lot of heaviness gets lost in speedy songs, but not in this. But they amp up that heaviness even more by slowing down and going back in. Wow, absolutely wow. This is an amazing thrash song. And from what I've heard, skipping through the album, there's lots of different stuff. There's slower songs. I think there's even an acoustic one. I could hear a couple of bits of acoustic as I was flicking through, but what I heard was absolutely outstanding. Obviously some fast songs like this. But guys, these sound amazing, and it's just mental, isn't it, to think some of these bands are around. I mean, this sounds as good as any thrash band now. I mean, I love Testament. I really like, I've already mentioned Overkill. You know, there's a handful of thrash bands bigger thrash bands that I really love. But these are as good as all those bands. They sound fucking huge. They really do. I love it. Here we go for the rest. Really getting excited where this song is going to go. Is it going to do something a bit different? Is it going to be a breakdown? You can imagine it'll be a really heavy breakdown, but it's absolutely perfect as it is. Let's have a little listen. Fuck me. John said to me, John Elvis, who recommended this album, he said he wished he had hair because his head doesn't stop banging. He's obviously bald like me. I totally agree. Man, I mean, that was just relentless stuff. That breakdown, I said I hope there was going to be a breakdown, or I didn't know if there was going to be one. That was just one of the heaviest things I've ever heard. It really was. It was just amazing. Loved even the bit after the solo was brilliant, by the way, but it even broke down again with some more sort of almost pushing to the extreme vocals. But like I said, it's almost like the heaviness was being ramped up and up and up, and it needed it to go in that direction. It was just brilliant. I even loved, I mean, there's parts in that, because it's so crystal clear, that production, and the guitar is so crunchy. It was a brilliant bit right at the end, and it's only for a split second, but where it built and built and built, and then the guitar even went even thrashier for a few seconds. It was just like so fast, where it was just building the momentum and energy. That was absolutely brilliant. Man, my favourite new thrash band, maybe Infanteria, Embrace the Trauma, from the album Patriarch, which was out last Friday, 17th of June. I think it's available everywhere. This is their third album. South African progressive thrash. I don't know if I call that song progressive. I don't know. Just sounded like a brilliant thrash song to me, but perhaps there's other progressive stuff. But I'm going to be on that album. I mean, that is when you want something a bit heavier. That's the band, surely. Infanteria. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this song, and I'll see you soon.